Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome if you're new. If you're hopping on and watching this tutorial, leave me a comment below. Say hi, please subscribe and like. Today I'm going to show you how to make the paw print wreath or wall decor. What I did is my local Dollar Tree did not have just the plain heart wreath rings that they have out for Valentine's Day. Mine, I have not seen any in as of right now. And I really wanted to make one of these for my mom. So I was kind of pressed on, okay, what can I, find to make, to use instead of just the wire. They have these tinsel heart wreaths at Dollar Tree, $1.25. So that works. I think it's a little smaller than their actual wreath rings, but honestly, the way I did make one, like I said, for my mom, and the way it turned out, I thought it looked so adorable. So I actually prefer this way, I feel like, over the normal sized wreath ring. The biggest thing that I think that I like the most is using these XO signs. The circles, I believe, are smaller than Dollar Tree's small round wreath rings. And if you notice, these aren't really like perfectly circle. They're kind of almost an oval shape. So I think that looks a lot more like a paw print using these versus, I mean, you can use the circle ones, but I prefer these, honestly. My Dollar Tree did not have the small wreath rings, so I saw these and figured this should work. You're going to need 2 of these because you need 4 of the toes. Excuse my voice, or my nose is really stuffy right now with sinus issues going on. What else you'll need is some of this thicker yarn. I'm sure you can use thinner yarn. This is what I used. I found it at Walmart. It's the Sparkle Chanel yarn. You can see it there. Now, when I found this, it was actually on clearance for $4. I'm not even sure how much this costs normally. But I got this gray and a black one, and it's really pretty. It's really sparkly. I don't know if you can kind of see some of the shimmer there. Okay, so you'll need the thick yarn, 2 of these XO signs from Dollar Tree, and this heart tinsel wreath from Dollar Tree. You also need some zip ties, because that's how we're going to connect the toes to the pad. You're going to need scissors, because we're going to have to cut these O's off, and we're also going to remove all of this tinsel. That's pretty much the basic things that you need to make this. If you want embellishments such as ribbon or, little dog bones or something, a sign maybe to go in the middle of it, really you can personalize it however you want. But this is what you basically need for just the paw print wreath, to make the basic wreath. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut these tags off. And then they also have these little hanging ribbons. It's on the X. You don't really have to worry about that. Now, for the heart, you're going to want to cut it off, because we're actually going to turn the heart upside down. I mean, if you wanted to leave it there to hang something off of it, I mean, that's definitely using that as another option, so you wouldn't have to, add or buy anything else. I mean, you can totally do that. What we're going to start with is cutting the O's off. This does get a little messy. This tinsel kind of gets everywhere. But you want to cut, and be careful so you don't cut your fingers or anything. You want to cut the O's off from the X's. And I don't know if you can see, but the tinsel pieces get everywhere. It's not hard to cut. I mean, I'm just using normal scissors here. And you may have to cut this down a little bit more. We'll see once we start taking the tinsel off. And then you can set these X's to the side. You may be able to use them for something else. I mean, you can make an XO sign with hearts connected to the X's or something if you wanted. Okay, one more. Okay, so now we have our 4 toes. If you wanted to use tinsel to make this entire wreath, you could. You could keep the toes white and then put white tinsel on the heart. If you even wanted to just put these together to make a Valentine's paw, I mean, it looks cute. Even that doesn't look bad at all. But what I'm going to show you how to do is with the yarn here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start taking the tinsel off. You just kind of find a spot that you can start working it off. And then I saved my tinsel because, I mean, you could probably use this for something. And see, it does not take long at all to get this off. And then just set that tinsel aside, and you have one of your toes ready to go. So you're going to do that with all of the toes. If you hear water in the background, I'm in my kitchen and my cat's water fountain is running, so that's what that noise is. Okay, so I'm going to probably go ahead and do these off camera real quick just to get them done. But as you can see, that's what the toes are going to look like without the tinsel. And then what you're going to do with the heart, like I said, you can keep the little ribbon hanger on, or you can take it off. It's up to you. And it's the same thing. This is pretty easy to get off too. You just gotta kind of find where to start it, even if you have to cut a little piece. Oh, no, I found one. Nope. Did I? No. Just kind of give it a cut. And then you should be able to start pulling the tinsel off. Sorry, I keep moving you guys around. But you continue to work this off. It's not hard, but in some places it gets a little stuck. They have these little like spiky things that they wrap it around. And you can see how it's going. I'm starting to remove all the tinsel from around the heart. I'm going to go ahead and pull the rest of this off, as well as the other toes here, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got all the tinsel off. I got all the tinsel pretty much cleaned up. There's still little pieces here, but that's fine. But this is what it looks like after you get all of the tinsel off of the heart and the O's. So then what you're going to want to do is get your yarn. I'm not going to show you with hot glue, but I'll tell you what I would do to secure it with hot glue if you wanted. But what I did with the other one that I made is you want to get at least a little bit, not too much, because you got to wrap it, so it kind of gets tangled if you take too much. But just cut some off. And one roll of this made a whole paw print, plus I had some left over. So this is definitely enough for one paw print. Not two, but definitely enough for one. Okay, so what I did is I started like right here in the middle of the heart. And what I did is I just took some of the yarn and I tied it. Just like that. Now you can leave this little tail hang out so you know once it's wrapped where you tied it at. And then you can add a little bit of hot glue and tuck it in there. If you feel like you tied it pretty well, and I mean, you can even wrap over this to kind of secure it and then tuck in any little bit, you know. My mom's, I didn't hot glue, and it seems to stay pretty good, at least so far. So you want to tie your yarn, and it slid over this piece here. Let me slide it back down. And I left the little loop here on my heart. You don't have to, but I did, and I was able to attach a bow there. So I didn't have to find somewhere to secure the bow or even glue it on. I was able just to tie it right to this little loop here, because it'll be upside down like this. So if you want to put a sign or a bow that hangs down, my mom's, I'll have a picture of it as my thumbnail, what hers looked like. What I did with hers is I put a bow here, and then I had hearts coming down. So you could do whatever you want. But if you plan on hanging something, I would probably suggest to leave this here. It helps you have something then to hang whatever you're wanting to hang there. You have a little place to hang it. Okay, so what I did is, like I said, I tied this here. And then what you're going to want to do, they have these like little notch things here. Because the way they made their wreath is they kind of put it there, you know, so you're not wrapping around, which you could do this. But as you can see, when you get to a spot that has a little bit of a gap, you're going to see the wreath form here. That would be fine if you want to go back and add a piece to the wreath to hide that. I mean, that's what it's going to look like if you're doing it that way. And then you would need to get some yarn and put it through. What I did is I wrapped it on some of the pegs. I did that, and then some of them I just wrapped around. So like the closer ones, I did do that. And then once there would be a gap, I just wrapped the yarn around. And you want it kind of tight so none of the wreath form shows. And then you just want to keep wrapping it around until you have the whole heart. And you need to pull it through every time or it's going to get tangled like I just did here. I don't even know what I did. Let me get this untangled. Okay. So you're just going to want to keep wrapping this around. It's a little bit time consuming. I mean, you could definitely, the messy part's over with. So if you wanted to, you know, sit on your couch and watch TV and do this, that way you're not standing. It's a little tedious, but it's not too bad. I don't know where everybody's from, but here in Pennsylvania, we have snow and ice. So it's cold, snowy, and icy out today. Okay, and you just want to keep wrapping this until you get it all covered. Once you use your first piece of yarn and you have to cut another piece, you could either just start to wrap it and overlap it to secure it or tie it again. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off camera because it does take a little bit of time. So that way I'm not boring you with the same thing here. But I'll show you the start of one of the toes. So that way you have an idea on that. And the toes, of course, you don't need as much. And again, I would probably use one of these, how it has like the line that goes completely across. Tie your yarn on that. And then you can tuck this in later, or you can even start to wrap it now, wrap over it. And for the toe, you just want to wrap. And I mean, if you wanted to, you could probably clip all these little, but I mean, that is going to take more time. So, I mean, this thicker yarn covers it. Now, I did have to take a little bit of extra yarn and fill in some of the gaps on the heart. I don't think I had to do it on the toes, but on the heart I did. And I'll show you. After I get that wrapped, any gaps, I'll leave them and I'll show you how I cover them. But the toes, you just want to keep wrapping until you get the whole toe covered. But let me know where you guys are from and what your weather's like. I know the schools just completely went online today around here because of how much ice and snow we were supposed to get. I haven't been out, so I don't know how bad it is, but it doesn't look good. And please like and subscribe if you like the tutorials. I'd be happy to do more in different kinds. You can leave suggestions on anything you'd like to see. Just let me know. All right, I'm coming down to the end here on the first toe. So what I'm going to do, just going to tuck this piece in here, and then I'll cut another piece and start over that, and I'll get that finished up. So I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera with the heart, and when I come back, I'll have everything covered, and I'll show you how to secure the toes to the heart pad. Okay, and as I was doing this, I kind of wanted to show you guys, when you wrap this, it kind of slides down. Up here, you can see a little bit of a gap. I'm going to go ahead after I get it all finished and add a piece of yarn in there to cover that. But as you're going, you want to kind of make sure you slide the yarn up so you're fitting as much yarn in between these little notches as possible. Again, you could cut these off, but honestly, I feel like it kind of anchors the yarn a little bit better that you have them there. So you just tuck the yarn in like that and wrap it. And then as you come in between two notches, it's going to be a big gap there. So you're going to want to put the yarn, but slide it up towards the other yarn, wrap it, and then, you know, keep sliding it, add another piece of yarn there. Okay, I just wanted to show you that real quick. I'm going to finish this up and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. Had a little bit of delay here. I got a phone call. But have these wrapped now. I have the heart wrapped and the toes. So after you have them wrapped with yarn, what you want to do, and like I said, there are going to be some areas where you may need to cover, like the corner, the point of the heart at the bottom, you can still kind of see the wreath form. So this is about how much I have left over after doing the heart and the 4 little toes. But you're going to want to take like a little piece of yarn to help cover. So what I would do is I would just take a piece of yarn, wrap it or tie it to try to cover that up. And then what you can do, as you can see, I have a couple of these little tails here from where I tied the yarn to secure it, or where I had to cut another piece and add it once I ran out of yarn when I was wrapping it. So what I would do with these little tails is, what you can do is you can either just tuck them in somewhere, because you're not going to see that's behind. It's on the back anyway. This is the back of the wreath, and it's pretty covered. So tucking the tails in, you'll be able to hide those. Or what you can do is just add a little bit of hot glue. You can cut these down, add a little bit of hot glue so they kind of stay there. Add a little bit of hot glue and tuck it in. Just be careful you don't burn yourself. And any little areas that you see any of the wreath form sticking out. I mean, you may see some of these little notches. That's a gap there. I'm going to have to hide that. But these little notches, I mean, you can kind of see them. You can always take yarn over those as well to hide them. But when you have it, you know, facing you, you can't really see that. And it's going to be upside down. So those little notches at the bottom, you're not going to be able to really see anyway. So once you have the heart and the toes covered in the yarn, you're going to want to lay it out to see where you want to secure the toes at. So you just want to kind of line it up to see where you want it. And I think that looks pretty good like that. You want them touching. I'm going to show you how to secure these on here. It's a little bit difficult to find the wreath form after you have the yarn on, but you can find it. So what you want to do is you want to take a couple of these zip ties. I believe I got these at Dollar Tree. So you want to take a couple of these zip ties. And what I did first, turn the wreath over. And you can kind of, if you feel the toes, you can kind of feel what side's the back. You can't really tell by looking at it, but if you feel, you can kind of feel the curvature on the front and then the indent on the back. So flip your toes over. And again, these little tails here, I'll tuck those in, probably hot glue these in place here after I have them all zip stripped. You want to turn your heart over so the back is facing you. And then what you want to do is you want to take the zip ties, poke your zip tie in where you can feel the wreath ring at. Make sure you go under the wreath ring and not just the yarn. Pull that through, and then you're going to find up here by the point of the hearts is where I'm going to start my first toe. So I feel a little bit of the wreath ring here. So what I'm going to do, probably should have put it the other way. And then you're going to take your zip strip, poke it up through the wreath form at the bottom of the heart. And then you're just going to click this together. I wouldn't tighten it all the way just yet, because I did on actually my mom's wreath. I tightened it all the way at first, and then I kind of wish I did. I had to cut one off to readjust it. So just leave it loose for right now until you at least get the second toe on, because you're going to also zip strip these toes together to keep it sturdy, and so they're not, you know, flopping all over the place. So try to find about the same, you know, the same distance from the point of the heart as the other side to make it even. Pull the zip strip through. Find the wreath form on your toe. Put Put the zip strip through. Okay. And then tighten it a little bit like that. So these look pretty good to me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zip strip them together first, and then I'll tighten these ones. So again, find the wreath form, poke your zip strip through. Find it on the other toe and poke it through. And then zip strip these together. And I'm going to pull this tight right off the bat. So that kind of holds them in place together. And then you want to kind of flip it over to the front so you can see where exactly your toes are going to sit. Because you don't want them behind really. You want them kind of sitting up. So kind of have them under the heart a little bit before you tighten them. And then tighten them together. And then there is your first two toes together right there. And then you're going to take your other two toes put them where you feel like you're going to want them. You can even go from the front and just take a zip tie up through the back of these if you want to keep. I put my toes a little bit behind the other one, kind of overlap a little bit. If you don't want them to overlap, you don't have to. I'm going to put it with the tail part down so I can get that hidden. So that looks about good to me. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to put the zip tie under the wreath form of the heart. And then the wreath form of the toe. Tighten it a little bit. Same thing with this side. You want to try to get it, pretty even across so they sit kind of the same length from each other. But if it's, as long as it's not too far apart, you'll be able to zip strip them together and it'll look fine. So zip strip that, and then I'm going to zip tie these toes together and then these toes together. And that kind of secures them a little bit more and makes them a little bit more sturdier. I mean, you can add extra zip ties if you want. If you wanted it more solid on top, so literally the toes don't move at all, you can do that. I'm just kind of showing you the basics here. But even just doing one zip strip, I mean, it's pretty secure. I'm going to put the zip strip through this side and this side of this toe. Tighten it up and tighten this one up. And I mean, there is your basic paw print wreath or wall decor. It's pretty simple. This one's a little, I could probably zip strip this to this right here to kind of pull it forward a little bit. But as you can see, that turned out really cute. It's really easy to do. You don't need very much materials. You can embellish it and personalize it however you want to. After you get it zip stripped, however many you want to do, then what you're going to do is cut the excess of the zip strip off. And make sure you cut it down fairly low or else they'll poke out. And really there's so many different ways that you could add your own personal touch to this. You could make, you know, a bow from ribbon to go at the bottom. You could put the bow on the side or in the center. You could make a little sign coming across or hanging down off your little loop here, you know, with your last name or your dog's names. You could make little bones to stick all around with your dog's names on them. I don't have my mom's here, or I would show you how I did hers, but you can see it in the thumbnail. With hers, I made, I need a drink here. My throat is really dry today. And even though it's snowy and icy out, it is pretty warm in my house. Excuse me. What I did with my mom's is I made, I put a bow here with a ribbon coming down with 2 wooden hearts glued to it. I just kind of used some of the stuff that I found at Dollar Tree. Let me see if I can find. But I used these little hearts here. And what I did is I painted them. I used some black paint and then I wiped it off like you would with stain. So it kind of stained them. And then what I did is I wrote my mom's dog's names on there. The top heart that I did, and it has like little, it looks like little wings. At least I tried to make them look like wings. But I used the little felt hearts from Dollar Tree to do that, the white ones in there. Because the top heart of hers are for her fur babies that passed away over the years. And then the bottom heart was her current fur babies now. So she really liked it. It was very personalized and, you know, for her, and she absolutely loved it. So you could do, you know, honestly, whatever you want with them. I've seen people, you know, put a bone that just says welcome, or, you know, like I said, you could do your last name, whatever you want. This one is not, I'm going to have to cut that one and redo it. It's just not, does not look like the other side completely. I did not notice that earlier. So I'm going to have to take this one off here because it just doesn't look great to me, but that is the quick tutorial on how to make the paw print wreath, and they turned out really cute. I also have a Facebook page. It's called Terry's DIYs. If you guys happen to make any of these, or you have already, please share them with me. I'd love to see them. If you guys have any other techniques that you used, different material, different embellishments, I would love to see it. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps me out. And let me know what you guys think of this. Is it cute? Do you love it? Are you going to make one? I mean, they're adorable. I'm more of a cat person. I guess you could make this into a cat paw. Maybe put like either little cats or something on it, or like a little fish thing. I don't know. Or if you guys have any cat ideas that you guys have made or seen, let me know, because I would love to make one for myself. But that's it, guys, for this tutorial. If you have any questions, just ask them in the comments below, and I'd be happy to help you with any questions you have. Also, remember to say hi. Let me know where you're from and what your weather's like today. And I hope to see you guys back here next time. Talk to you guys later. Bye.